Hey y'all, Editing Misty here. I'm editing the video that you're about to watch and I did not realize that my tripod was leaning against my table. So every time I'm gesturing or whatever, the tripod is moving. So this video is a little shaky and I apologize for that. But yeah, so my table was fine with the wallpaper backdrop, but the roses are a little there's more depth. And so I may have to cut out a row so I can fit my desk in more. So I apologize. Sorry about that. Hey there everyone, it's Misty here. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, I have a follow-up to my video from last weekend. I feel like I left you on red, R-E-A-D, and just kind of blah, and then went into hiding. So first, thank you so much to everyone who watched that video and everyone who left such kind comments. I really do appreciate you. Everybody that's reached out through other social media, Facebook, Instagram, I really appreciate you as well. It's like, I know it's a choice to share those kinds of things on the internet, but I think that it's important to show, especially with someone who struggles basically with an eating disorder and using food, etc. as a coping mechanism. I think it's important to show the good and the bad. You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both, and there you have the facts of life. So, in my life, the last, 7 years, I have been dealing with all types of grief. I have continual grief from losing my grandmother in 2000. I have grief from having to leave my job. I have grief from losing my mobility. I have grief from having a diagnosis ripped away. I have grief with trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with me. Like, I have all of this grief. And as we know, the grieving process is not linear. So it's not like you do this step and then you move to this step and you move to this step and you move to this step. And grief can hit you out of the blue. Grief can really, it's just, grieving is hard. And we grieve more than people and animals. We can grieve a variety of different things. And you guys know, if you've been with me since 2017, you know what a struggle bus I have been on for the last 6 years. And I feel like I keep getting piled on. Clearly, I haven't learned the lesson. Clearly, I haven't learned it. So my grandmother is dying. My dad's mom is dying. We don't have a relationship. I can't even say contentious. We just don't have a relationship. I want to support and protect my sister at all costs, even though she and I aren't as close as we probably could be if we both put in a little bit more effort. And so I had all of that. And then on top of that, trying to get this genetic counseling thing taken care of. I met with a genetic counselor, I believe it was on Tuesday, and he was with the cancer person, because originally I called and made an appointment to speak with someone about neurology. And then they called me back and said, hey, you really need to see someone about cancer because you have pancreatic cancer. And I was like, are they going to talk with me about everything? Because I'm not really interested in the cancer part. And she said, yeah, he'll talk about everything. So I had that appointment on Tuesday and he was like, no, we don't talk about everything. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I said, I originally signed up for neurology because I am more interested in the response that my body is having in, all of my weaknesses and stuff than I am worried about cancer. The new statistic is half of us will end up with cancer. I have pancreatic cancer in my family. I now have lung cancer in my family, melanoma. I had, it said high risk for melanoma. I have a couple of new moles. I'm going to the dermatologist this week. Next week. So there's a lot of cancer in my future, possibly, but that's not what I want. That's not why I got genetic testing done. That's not it. So he's like, I'm going to cancel this appointment and I'm going to, leave a note and you call back and schedule for neurology. So I did. So I was going to have that appointment on Wednesday. I got a call that morning from another person there that said, hey, I noticed that you have an appointment for today, but I feel like that's a mistake and I should delete it. I said, do not delete it. I said no. And she's like, can you explain? And I said, I met with Austin yesterday. Austin is a genetic counselor. And I said, he and I both noted that I need to speak with someone in neurology, not someone with cancer. And she's like, are you not worried about cancer? I said, no. I said, I am worried about my neurological issues. And she's like, well, what happened? And I said, in 2017, I was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis. In December of 2021, I was told I no longer have myasthenia gravis. I said it just like that, as robotic as I could. And she was like, oh, I see. It's like, Jesus, Mary and Josephina. So then 11:30 is my appointment time. 11:35 comes and goes. 11:40 comes and goes. It's 11:45. And the lady's assistant called me and was like, hey, she's having technical difficulties. Well, she'll get to you as soon as she can. And so she called, and you guys, Missy, don't cry. I'm going to cry. I told her after this appointment that this is the first time I have felt hope in years. So she asked me, we talked for probably an hour and a half, possibly. I gave her the entire history of when my symptoms started, how they started, all the symptoms I've developed since then. And she was like, yeah, she's like, you definitely qualify for genetic testing. She said there is, so I'll try to flash up the screenshots that I took. So there are two kind of areas. There's one disease, like specific disease we may have to test for if there's really nothing in this other report. So she said they work with a lab that is sponsored by the Muscular Dystrophy Association. So my genetic test will be free. She said they don't share any information. So if I want to join research projects, etc., I'll have to do that on my own or say yes if they ask. And I said, okay. So she is testing for Congenital Myasthenic Syndrome. Is that it? Congenital Myasthenic Syndrome. Where is it? Yes. Congenital myasthenia is an inherited disorder that usually develops at birth, but blah, blah, blah. It's basically myasthenia, but it's genetic. So it's not necessarily in the blood work, but it could be in the genes. So she's kind of, and there's syndromes that there's like 3 or 4 under that kind of umbrella. She said she's leaning toward muscular dystrophy. That's what it sounds like to her. But we're going to start there. I said I would rather start overbroad and then kind of work our way in. And she agreed. So we're starting kind of broad, but in this neurology area. She said she thinks it also may be, I'm not even going to try to say this. Am I going to try to say this? I don't think I'm trying to say this. Let's see. Faciopulmonary FSHD, one of the most common forms of muscular dystrophy. It can affect all genders. It's caused by a genetic mutation which deletes some of the DNA on chromosome 4 and then switches on a gene which is toxic to muscles. And I have all of the symptoms of that, like almost. And she said that too. She's like, you really have almost all of the symptoms of FSHD. She said, but I feel like we should really start broad. And I said, I agree. And she said that one is really expensive testing and insurance may not cover it. So this one's free. And how this works is she ordered it. The lab is going to send me a saliva test kit. I send that back and I will have results in 2 to 3 weeks. I need to call my regular doctor and reschedule. And I told her on the phone, I said, this is the first time I've had hope since 2021. I said, this is the first time I feel like I've been heard since 2021. I feel like, and I told her, I said, I went to 4 different neurologists in 2022 who were like, oh yeah, it's something, we just don't know what it is, and just sent me on my merry little way. And I said, do neurologists don't know about this type? And she said, no. She's like, they're normally not taught a lot about genetic diseases. And I said, okay, because I was like, if they knew and they didn't test me, I was going to be pissed. So it's just, I told her, I said, it's hard being fat, getting healthcare. I said, but add this on top of it where it's not anything that they can see. I've had 4 different nerve conduction studies done, And there's always something, but it's always been something. It's never been definitive other than myasthenia. I said, and I was literally hooked up to the IV, had the IV in my arm when she called and said that was the wrong diagnosis. And I said, and it's just, I said, I feel like I have PTSD from that and I'm working through that with my therapist. I said, but this is the first time I feel like I've been heard. This is the first time I feel like someone has validated the symptoms that I feel and says, yes, that's a symptom that so-and-so people may experience with this type of disease and it may be genetic. I felt hope, you guys, hope. And I told Rob yesterday, he's like, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm not okay. And he just wrapped me in his arms and I was just like, I am dealing with so many emotions. This has been a fucking roller coaster of a week. The last 2 weeks have been a fucking roller coaster. And it has just been really hard to process all of the emotions that I'm feeling, because I told Rob, I said, I'm feeling all of them. I'm feeling anxious because, you know, what if it's something, and like I've always said, I don't care if I have a disease as long as it's treatable and not fatal. And I don't know, there's just anxiety with that, and I'm just scared, you guys. Like, muscular dystrophy is no small thing. And I've been experiencing these symptoms for 6 years. 6 years of my life. And I told her, I said, I just want my mobility back. I said, I just want to be able to have a day where I function. It's like, I can't shower every day. And I told her, like, if today, I didn't shower, so I was able to sit down, put on makeup, and film the videos that I needed to film. Yesterday it was a shower day, so I wasn't able to do much because my arms were so fucking tired. And it's like that 24/7. They always are like tender to the touch. They always hurt. And so many of these symptoms match and make sense. And it's like, I felt validated. I felt heard. And I just felt hope. And I hope and pray that this brings me the answers that I need. And she did say, she said, now this may not bring you a medical treatment plan. She's like, but we can work and try to figure something out and go from there. And I told her, thank you for that. So I will get the results. And then she will call me, we'll set up a time to talk, and she'll walk me through all of the results and help me make a plan for how to go forward. So, yeah. It's been a rough week. I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday. We ate horribly. And then, yesterday I had a couple of grilled cheese sandwiches with the keto bread. I've tried a keto chow shake. I tried the lemon meringue one. The taste was really nice, but the texture is a thing, and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get used to it. What else? But I've been doing well the last couple of days. My blood sugar has been really good. I'm due for a new sensor, so the readings are off, but I don't feel like calibrating. I'm at 179. That's not right. So anyway, because all I've had today was a coffee. It's 2 p.m. That was like at 8:30. So yeah, so I am filming this on the 17th, Thursday the 17th. This is probably going to go up tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I have my first set of facet injections in my neck. So that's basically where he goes into the nerve and he injects a, not a laxative or sedative. What is it called? Like basically a lidocaine. And depending on the level of relief I get from that, we can move on to a second set of injections. If I continue to get relief from these injections, then I can move on to a rhizotomy in my neck. The rhizotomy in my lower back has worked very well. The issue is I know carbs give me inflammation and make my joints hurt. I know this. This is a known fact. I haven't been able to take my anti-inflammatory because I am having a procedure tomorrow. So why in ever-loving fuck have I been eating carbs knowing that I have no way to counteract the inflammation that they're going to cause? And I have felt like total dog shit the entirety of the week. My right hip hurts, like the disc, I could feel it. And I'm just like, I told Rob, I was like, why do I keep doing this to myself? I talked to my therapist about it on Monday, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And I feel like I have been carrying a lot and dealing with a lot for years and years and years now. And I hope and pray and just hope beyond hope that these tests are the answers. And again, I don't mind if I have to take a medicine or something like that for the rest of my life. I would just like to be able to function like a normal adult. So I asked her about the results that I shared with her, and she said they're not like, she's like, they can't be verified by medically because of the, they don't use their labs. So they can't verify them medically. And any testing, I would have to go through them. Which makes sense. So she said it wasn't a waste. She said they gave you a bunch of information. She said it wasn't a waste. She's like, but it's not something that we can go on. She said, so we're going to do it basically from scratch. And I said, okay. I told her, I said, we'll do whatever we need to do. If I need to give blood, I said, my next step is the Mayo Clinic. And I said, that's 9 days of being poked and prodded and scanned. And if I need to do that after we get these results, okay. But if we can avoid that, and I can go to a neurologist and be like, here, my genetic counselor said this is the thing, can we treat the thing? Then we can go from there. Because again, I just want to be treated. I just want something that will help me get my life back. I would like to be able to go walk a supermarket. I would like to be able to go to the Dollar Tree by myself. I would like to be able to shower every day. I would like to be able to just do what I want to do for an entirety of a day and not feel like my arms are going to fall off my body. So, hope. I'm going to title this video Hope, because that's what I left that conversation with yesterday, was a whole bunch of hope. A whole lot of other emotions, but the biggest one is indeed hope. And I am just, y'all, send all of your good juju this way, please. I appreciate it. I will keep you guys, updated and abreast of what's going on. I am going to get back to vlogging, and I've said that probably 30 times. I just haven't been in the right headspace to pick up the camera and talk. So hopefully I feel a little bit better after this weekend. I have some things to get done after I have that injection tomorrow. So hopefully I can get done what I need to get done and just enjoy the weekend with my husband. So, oh, by the way, I asked him if he would be in another video. He said yes. So what you need to do is leave your questions down below, and we'll go through them, and he'll pick the ones that he wants to answer. He will pick the ones that he wants to answer. So if you're asking something super deeply personal and he doesn't answer your question, it's because he didn't feel comfortable. This is going to be his show. I'm going to be the sidekick. But because I put my personal life on the internet, but I don't put anything about our relationship on the internet other than saying that I have a husband who's super supportive. So leave your questions down below. I'll let him pick his questions that he wants to answer, and we will film a Q&A probably in the next week or so. So yeah. We talked about it yesterday. So, okay, that's it. So subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me over on Instagram. I have just been really bad at social media. It's just, I don't know. Instagram has just done something that I hate. And it's like, hey, Instagram, you want us to be active, but you keep screwing things around. And then I see the same reels like every time I get on Instagram. They're repeats. And I'm like, this is dumb. So yeah, anyway. Thanks, you guys. You've been just as much of a rock as my husband has been. And I really appreciate it. So, and I only cried a little bit, so yay for me. But this battery's about to die, so I'm gonna go. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. I haven't responded to any of those comments. I don't know that I will, but I've read each one as they've come through email. So I appreciate you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.